It's time to dive into the top 5 headlines coming out of Week 12 of the NFL Sunday slate. We said we want to do something each week that maybe has a little bit of reason, a little bit of rhyme, a little bit of structure. What are they doing? Football games with that? Oh, that's called the First 15. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our First 15, driven by Ram Truck. Whenever you hit the gas, that thing sounds like obviously incredibly smooth, powerful, and durable, but it's also perfect for the First 15 because that's what we're trying to be. Put the clock please, in the lower left corner. Bang. Let's get started. Top 5 headlines coming out of Week 12 Sunday slate. Number 5, whose league? It's looking like Rams League. Heard that a lot last night. Whose house? Rams house. Whose house? Rams house. Felt loud. Felt like the Rams faithful have I don't want to say finally, but the Rams faithful have taken over that entire building. Now, whenever they go out to Los Angeles, you have no idea what's going to happen. How's this going to go? Is the franchise going to be able to be exciting enough and electrifying enough to steal the attention of the people that live in LA? And with the Rams, are they going to be good enough? Then they win the Super Bowl in SoFi, in their own stadium, in their own city. And then they go all in, basically, for that team. They send a bunch of draft picks out there, you know. GM actually quoted saying, fuck them picks. You know, that's kind of everywhere. We need to win right now in a brand new city. And somehow, from that era to what they're doing right now, they've been able to continue to turn over the dominance. They got a young defense that's everywhere. And they got a quarterback who was drafted in the same class as me and D-Bus.
Yeah.
I mean, he was picked number 1. I was picked 222. He was picked number 1. Darius J. Butler was picked
41.
Oh,
D-Bus.
Yeah. Wow. That's old CBA for Matthew Stafford and for Darius J. Butler. But what this guy's doing this year is outrageous. He's the MVP odds-on favorite, and every time he's on primetime and he's doing the shit that he's doing, especially with Devontae, which D-But's going to get into here in a matter of moments, but every time he gets out on TV and showcases what he's able to do at this current stage of his career with dudes like Puka Nacua, who Devontae Adams said he's like, this is the greatest vibe of all time. Puka Nacua, always positive, always energetic, also impossible to tackle and incredibly tough. Kind of sets a tone for everybody in the building. And oh, yeah, you got an OG, Devontae Adams in that building. And oh, yeah, Matthew Stafford's playing better football than he's ever played. Devontae Adams just passed Jimmy Graham for the most one-yard touchdowns in the history of the NFL. Congratulations, Devontae.
Let's go.
Is that real?
Congrats. 15 of them. You know, Jerome Bettis is on that list. You know, Jerome Bettis had that run with the Pittsburgh Steelers where basically they would walk it all the way down the field and get to the one. And instead of the tush push, it was the bus hush, you know, and he just kind of ran it in for a touchdown. I think it was Fast Willie Parker got all the yards and had like no touchdowns. Why don't you have any touchdowns? Well, anytime we get inside 5.
That's Bussy's territory.
Yeah, he had like 3 touchdowns, 2 yards in a couple different games. You're talking about 1-yard touchdowns. Gronk had this situation, obviously, whenever they were down on the goal line with Tom Brady, they would just flank Gronk out there one-on-one. And if you sent one person out there, okay, well, that's a two-way go for Gronk right now. If you send 2 people out there, what happens to the box? Well, obviously, we're able to hammer it. It's an unstoppable offensive weapon if you have it. Devontae's get-off, they say he's better than anybody. So not only do you have the best get-off, you also have a quarterback that never misses. This dude never misses. And then on the defensive side, they're only giving up 16.3 points a game or something like that. That's the fewest in the NFL. This is the first time ever the odds-on favorite of the MVP has had a defense this dominant. Ever. So whenever you talk about whose league, it's starting to feel like we might be talking about the Rams League. Is that how you're seeing it, D-Bo?
Absolutely. You talk about it offensively, it always starts with the quarterback. A lot of questions about Matt and his health coming into this season. So for him to be playing like this now is unbelievable. And then everyone around him. Obviously, we know his head coach, the play caller, Sean McVay. He's great. They got a good running game. The O-line has been keeping them clean. Whenever you have a quarterback, you know, that's up in age, we mentioned being drafted in 2009, you want to keep him clean. You want to keep him upright. And they've been doing a great job of that. And it's Devontae Adams. Once you get into that area, like his release game, even out here, like his release game off the ball, I mean, Chad Ochocinco, Stevie Johnson, and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams will be at the top of that list. Like, he's so smooth out in the field. When you get into that area, low red area, slants, fades, all of it. And then Puka, he's everywhere. He does everything. It's unbelievable.
Do you think because Sean McVay was a wide receiver, he has seen himself and he said, if I had Devontae's release, I would just, on the goal line, we just flank him out there. You got Puka on the other side. You got Parkinson. You got all these other weapons that obviously the Rams have in abundance. But if they one-on-one out here, Sean McVay's thinking in his head, if I had Devontae's release, that's a two-way. Do you think that is an advantage for wide receiver relationships when the head coach play caller is a wide receiver?
I think that always helps. And it's part of, I mean, even when, like, he's always going to get the most out of his weapons. Even when Odell Beckham came over that year that you mentioned, they went and won the Super Bowl, he would just isolate Beckham on that side of the field. And that was while, Cooper Kupp was winning the Triple Crown, but he would get the best out of both guys and putting them in their situation to be productive. And on the opposite, side of Devontae is Puka. And Puka's moving everywhere. He dominates in the interior of the field. He'll insert through a B or C gap and run a route down the field. He's tough. He came on the show and said, hey, look, I'll never be the guy that's going to run out of bounds or turn down contact. You talk about his vibes on and off the field, but you put the ball in number 12's hand, he's going to make something special happen damn near every time. And then defensively, you mentioned, rarely do we see an offense like this paired up with the championship-level defense, but Chris Shula has the boys rolling. The front four is the best in the league, in my opinion, and then guys on the back end really making a name for themselves this year. Kinchins, who had 2 picks last week. Kobe Durant had a pick last week. Now he has a pick 6 this week. And Emmanuel Forbes Jr., I think he was targeted 7 times and didn't give up a catch, which he was a washout in the Commanders.
What happened to him at the Commanders? He's super skinny, right?
Yeah, like
I mean, he's still a slim guy, and I think he'll always be a slim guy. But the reason you rarely see a guy that small get drafted in the first round, the reason he did was because of his skill set and how dominant he was at Mississippi State. And now you just see confidence. Confidence is everything at any position. When you're a cornerback, having that in life, when you have that confidence, you're in the system, you have a coach that believes in you have players around you that are great. This is what you see when you go to a new place. And we always say, hey, maybe this guy just needs a fresh start. That's a great example of this right here.
To your point, D-Butt, is from Next Gen Stats. Emmanuel Forbes faced 7 targets and did not allow a single reception against the Buccaneers. And remember, this Buccaneers offense, really good. What's going on? It seemed early he was reaching. Baker Mayfield was reaching for his arm, but they let him play. So it felt like it was happening early. If he had broken anything up there, like collarbone, I don't know if they let him play. I don't want to diagnose anything, but it feels like something with the AC joint. I'm not 100% sure, just the way he was reaching for it. Incredibly painful. I mean, like one of the most painful things.
How many times he sacked before this? Like he was under duress. Like we saw in prime time when Josh Allen was running for his life against that Houston Texans defense. It kind of seemed very similar against this Rams front. So whatever he came into the season dealing with, it definitely didn't help facing a what would they call him?
Jace, what an incredible. Dominant. I mean, that was good. That was really good. I appreciate that. But what we're trying to say is he was reaching immediately to here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
feels like that's probably a very real thing he was playing through last night. So obviously, is Baker playing his best football? Is the offense playing their best football? Is anybody going to be able to play their best football against this Rams defense? I think that is the big question. And Shula was getting a lot of FaceTime last night. Chris Shula, as he should, because how dominant they were. This Buccaneers offense is good. This is a very good Buccaneers offense that they did that to.
We're like 4 weeks away from, we're 4 weeks removed from basically saying Tampa Bay was going to the Super Bowl. I mean, they had everything, and the Rams made them look basically incompetent on offense. And you're talking about Godwin was back; they weren't as hurt. One thing, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen, just because I would like my team to have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Aaron Donald needs to come back and just play 10 snaps a game with this D line, and I don't care if he is even just on the sideline in pads, just hyping the guys up, kind of telling them, "Hey, that's a great dance move. Maybe you can do this to make it a little better." But he was on game day last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever, and he looks just as jacked as he did when he was playing. Now he probably needs a little time to get into game shape, maybe even put on a couple pounds. I don't think so. He might be able to play middle linebacker.
That's right. Just like Jage.
Yes.
Like J.J. Watt, we kind of experienced his first year of retirement with him. If you do recall, weekly we were joining him.
Yeah.
And that dude just didn't understand. Like, hey, you're not still in the NFL. He was still getting under the squat rack every single morning, running sprints. You remember he was running sprints and doing cardio and everything. And I don't know if Aaron Donald's doing all of that stuff. I'd assume yes, though. Yeah. I would assume that he would be doing those things. And then we saw him at Pitt. I mean, the guy threw me with a pinky.
Yeah.
The guy threw me with a pinky.
Insane.
Still got those. He trained with knives. And whenever you talk about that front, you drop Aaron Donald in it. And once again, we have no inside information on whether or not Aaron Donald wants to go back. Aaron Donald's enjoying the hell out of his life, I think. And he's earned it. And he goes 10 years, 8 All-Pros, 10 Pro Bowls, won a Super Bowl, 3 defensive MVPs. I feel like I had a pretty good career. You certainly did, Aaron. Yeah. You certainly did. You worked your ass off for all those things. But he was in the building last night.
Yep.
And I'm assuming he gets excited watching the way that defense plays.
I think he can get out there and play right now if he wanted to. I'm not sure if you guys heard them talking about, they've said it a few times with Jared Verse when he went and worked out with them. And he was like, hey, you know what, Aaron? Don't call me. I'll call you. He said it was the hardest shit he ever experienced. And that's him post-NFL career. So I'm sure 9-9 can still get in there and dominate.
Congrats to the Rams fans.
Yeah.
Legit.
It's a good life right now.
Right now, it's very good. And how long is Matthew Stafford going to play, especially if he's hopping into that tube of live foreverness?
Yeah, the immortal chamber.
Yeah, what was that? What was that thing called?
Immortal cryo chamber of life.
It's amortal instead of immoral, so I don't know what the difference is.
No, well,
Because he's an alpha.
it's amoral, maybe. Maybe it's a hard A on that.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, he looks good.
They also have the number 11 pick still, so.
Who was calling the game? There it is. Amoral advertises itself as a wellness device that aims to optimize human performance and promote holistic health through a combination of non-invasive technologies. It worked.
Yeah, it did.
This guy's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it did.
We saw him walk into this thing, then we saw him walk out of that thing, and now we're getting the season we're getting right now.
Is that him?
That's a good question.
Don't do this.
We talked to him about this, didn't we?
Yeah, we
did.
talked to someone about it.
He said, my clone's doing pretty good this year. And it's like, whoa, Mr. White Teeth right there.
Yeah, a clone would say that.
Admit that?
He looks good, too.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Looks young, even with the beard. And he's the arms.
He's not getting hit either. He could. I mean, he could play another.
Oh, it's like the
5-7 years.
It's like the body that's playing out there has actually never been hit before this year.
Doesn't it? I mean,
He is a little too
and then
spry.
The touchdown to Parkinson, obviously, every week.
I also never saw those calves until this year
Ever.
either. So
Well, he was hiding them maybe because he's a humble man.
Did he get new legs?
Well, it does appear maybe from knees down because those calves. But once again, we don't really know because we've never really heard from him. Other than mic'd up situations with NFL Films when he was in Detroit just getting murdered and then throwing awesome passes.
Detroit was so stinky.
So
Poor
stinky.
man.
So stinky.
Jeez.
But they had Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford, so you were kind of forced to pay attention to them. You know, like we're all forced to pay attention to that team because they were doing records. And I mean, Davante's on he's on a record-breaking pace right now. Already did last night. Jumped top 10, top 9, top 8, whatever the number is in touchdowns. Congratulations.
Already only has one less touchdown as a Ram. One behind Puka. Puka has 13. He has 12.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a year.
That's nuts.
And I'll tell you what, whenever you find the cheat code on goal line offense and you don't need everybody on your team to get accordioned, like the tush push does, that's a really nice thing.
Yeah.
The offensive line loves that Devontae Adams has a one-on-one on the outside.
they do.
You know who else loves that? Running back too. Well, running back may want the touchdown.
Yeah.
Everybody else loves it
Yeah.
that it's happening out there. And all Matthew Stafford has to do is what? Just the thing that he's the best in the world at? Just put it into a bucket?
Okay.
No problem. And Devontae's like, wait till you guys see the shit I worked on in the summer. It's actually a triple fucking. That's all. He's just crossing dudes up.
Yeah.
Is that the hard? So what's the hardest? You don't know where he's going because he doesn't use his hands either.
Yeah, they're just down.
His hands are like down. So
Yeah.
it's like very interesting. What is the hardest part about his get? Everybody talks about his get off, his get off, his get off. It just, to me, it looks like he just shakes the shit out of somebody.
Honestly, on that one, that was inexcusable by McCullum because you have help inside there with Winfield, and he's so close.
And he
I'm
had
sure
outside leverage
I'm sure they
already.
go at this point like, hey, we're talking about it. 17, we're down here. You got to guard half a man. It's like Dez Bryant used to be automatic down there at Romo when they got there. He was going to throw the back shoulder fade regardless of what was happening. But if you're a corner, you got to be able to guard half a man at least. So you take away half. But if you're one-on-one just on an island and he has a two-way going you want to initially take away leverage. But a veteran like him, even if he sees out inside leverage, he'll probably set you up and still try to take it away. So when you have that two-way going, you've done it as much as he has done it, and then you have a quarterback that can actually be on the same page and hit you, it's damn near unstoppable.
Yeah, because Stafford's not missing.
Exactly.
Like we'll see sometimes those opportunities where a ball will be a little too far, land out of bounds, be a little short, will get batted off to somebody's back or something like that. I think there was a situation last night with Dak and CD. Obviously, we will talk about that here in a matter of moments about where CD thought the ball was going versus where it actually went. Now, granted, it went right through his arms, but he thought it was going back corner. It's like Stafford seemingly always puts it right to the place that everybody wants it.
Exactly.
That's why when you're talking about ball spinners, bro. Got it. Absolutely got it. Could do it forever. Let's go to the top 4 headline now. We're talking about the bare necessities, the stinking bare necessity. Hey, the Bears, the kings of the North. This is real.
Big time.
Hey, just a tough team coming in.
Well,
Pittsburgh Steelers. With Mason Rudolph, who by Steelers fans' own admissions was fresh off a hot fourth quarter with this Steelers team. Maybe the guy who needs to lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to the promised land they were hoping to go to this season because Aaron Rodgers fractured his left wrist. Now, the story going in was, is Aaron Rodgers going to play against a team that he's the landlord of? Is Aaron Rodgers going to play against the Chicago Bears? Maybe one. final time in Chicago. He's got a fracture on his left wrist. Okay, he's obviously throws right-handed. He was trying to get in the game last week. He was allegedly trying to play this week for a number of reasons. Not only because he's super competitive and he loves his Pittsburgh Steelers team, but also because he will do one more. One more of these on Chicago. We found out that he was a fan of the Chicago sports team because he watched WB growing up. It was one of his 6 channels. So he saw the Bulls, and who wasn't a fan of the Bulls, especially if a Michael Jordan fan like I was. He loved the Cubs, and he loved playing against Chicago, obviously, with the Packers because it's a rivalry that he held in high regards. So we thought Aaron Rodgers was going in there. Wasn't Aaron Rodgers. It was Mason Rudolph. And guess what? It didn't matter because what this Chicago Bears team is, real. Now, let me talk to you about what I like about Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson, what he was able to do at the Detroit Lions with Jared Goff. He turned Jared Goff, who is a robot, into a very, 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 very efficient robot. Hey, this is what we need to do. These exact steps, this exact play fake, the ball needs to be at this exact pinpoint. So we wondered, is Caleb Williams ever going to be able to buy into the Ben Johnson system? Well, for all that to happen, you need a lot of things. You need a great offensive line. They invest in the offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
Need a great run game. Okay, need a great run game. Okay, we're going to have a run game. This is if you look at what the Detroit Lions had with Ben Johnson. Best offensive line, need a great run game. Then what do you need a quarterback that's able to do? Well, he needs to be able to hand that ball off to the running back, and then he needs to be able to play action the shit out of that defense. Because if you have a good play action and you have your back to the defense like this, Caleb Williams spent his entire life shotgun looking at everybody. Hey, Caleb Williams, you're the best athlete on the field. You need to have eyes on everybody, and if something doesn't work, make it work. Okay, that's what you need to do. Now they're asking Caleb, for the success of this offense, for this offense to be as good, you have to take the ball, commit completely, turn your back to the defense. TJ Watt's on that defense. Turn your back completely to the defense, sell this thing so that the linebackers can't move. Okay, these linebackers can't move. They can't do anything. They have no idea. And then bang, as soon as you turn, you need to know that the ball is going to go right to there, right to the seam. That's where it needs to go. We don't need you thinking. Okay, we just need you to turn your back. Don't be scared of getting hit in the face. Could happen. And then as soon as you turn around, you need to just spin that thing. You will catch the defense in a land that they don't want to be in. You will have wide open guys everywhere. And I'll tell you what, yesterday against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, wide open guys everywhere. The rhythm, the timing, the execution of an offense by Caleb Williams was very much on display. 50 couldn't do shit right there. 50 couldn't do a damn thing right there because he had no idea what Caleb was going to do. Back to the defense, turns around, boom, on a button, see you later. He has to know what the defense is doing pre-snap. So Caleb has to know what the defense is kind of doing pre-snap because then he has to decide where he's going once he turns his back around. But he's making the right decisions. He's committed completely to the play action, and their team's built to have success. And then on defensive side, they just get turnovers everywhere.
they do.
They get turnovers everywhere. Here now, there's a couple stats that Hembo sent over to me about this Chicago Bears team. Okay, last year in games that were decided by 5 points or less, 2024, they were 1-6. Okay, this year they're 6-1. In those games, Chicago has a plus 12 turnover margin in those games. So whenever you talk about, not only are they winning the close games because they're seemingly a culture, a moxie, an aura, good, better, best, never let rest, good is better and better is best. They have that. Defense getting the ball back for an offense that is going to become much, much better. This is the first step. Now, I guess this would be the second step. First step was like buying into the offense being good by Caleb. Mm-hmm. Second step, starting to understand pre-snap what the defense is doing, fully committing to play action. There's so much more if you remember what Ben Johnson and Jared Goff were able to do in Detroit.
Yep.
This is the fundamental basis of this offense is being able to do this off of play action. Then all the other shit comes in. So whenever you talk about up and to the right, it's like Caleb and Ben Johnson. If they were able to work, we're going to be maybe unstoppable. Seems like they're getting to the point where they are going to work, where we can confidently say that. It's just how quickly do they become that absolute juggernaut that Detroit was? It might be soon. It is fun to watch what they're doing up there.
Yeah, I think they're just scratching the surface. They're only 11 games in, and you're sitting at 8-3. I don't think many people expected this. And Caleb Williams, when it's a high leverage situation, I feel like that's when he's playing his best ball, and that's really, you rarely hear that for a young quarterback like him. So I think they're just scratching the surface with this offense. And yeah, it is a belief and a trust in something that you really haven't done your whole life. I would assume he ran a similar offense in high school in the gun. up-tempo, went to college, moved around the colleges, but did similar things. So to get to the National Football League, and now you're in the huddle, you got to command the huddle, you got to call plays, you got to be under center, you got to do play action, and he's handling it great. He has young guys around him as well. I think Burden will continue to come along, who was their first-round pick this year, another first-round pick, Loveland.
Oh,
Obviously, a lot of people made a lot of noise because we ended up with Tyler Warren, but I think he'll be just as good. Like, he's unbelievable. You got to be a good blocker to play at Michigan and win the national championship, but you never saw his receiving skills when he was in college, and I think we're just kind of getting to the surface of that as well. And then we know who DJ Moore is. You know, a couple more touchdowns for him yesterday, but Caleb Williams, I couldn't be more impressed with what he's doing. And then defensive side of the ball, Dennis Allen. And I got to give a shout out to Al Harris, too, because everywhere he goes, that secondary plays better and better. And Deshaun Wright, this guy was on Minnesota's practice squad last year. Now he's tied with his teammate Kevin Byard leading the National Football League. And that's an unbelievable interception right there. He said he has some wide receiver in his background. Actually gave Antonio Brown, Tony Toe Tap a shout out for this play. But unbelievable play. And you mentioned it. It's not just the offense or just the defense. We always talk about teams taking on the identity of their coach and kind of playing complementary football and winning these close ball games, and they've been doing it all year long, man. Caleb Williams already has the franchise record with fourth-quarter comebacks. Like, I can't say enough about the Chicago Bears team.
I think they had a lot of injuries as well. This isn't like the full Chicago Bears team, and I have a chance to talk to, obviously, multiple Chicago Bears fans. Zito's living the high life. I assume they are very excited.
A lot of steaks.
He's getting steaks every Sunday because the Chicago Bears are getting big-time wins. We also have another friend who lives in Los Angeles but is a diehard Chicago Bears fan. Just the amount of – we're only getting better. We're getting guys back healthy. We don't even have any linebackers in the moment. We're only getting better at this time. They feel like, hey, we've been waiting a long, long time. And once you start to see those little sparks of that offense looking like Jared Goff and Caleb looking like Jared Goff, it's like, man, what Ben and Jared were able to do versus adding what Caleb can do into that, with Ben Johnson knowing what Caleb can do. So that now you got this type of shit happening, and he's the head coach of the team, so he's not leaving. So you don't have to be like scared that we're going to have massive success here with a young quarterback and he's going to be gone, because that's what happens with good offensive coordinators. They end up leaving. Ben Johnson leaves Detroit, goes to Chicago. So they could potentially only grow and grow and grow. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes type shit. And I don't want to get cart before horse, but that's very real, I think, at this point.
No, their offense with their weapons is awesome. You guys talked about it, and you talked about DJ Moore. Everybody knows DJ Moore except for the Steelers defense that just let him run straight down the seam uncovered. They have guys at literally every single position. You talk about Loveland, like Cole Kmet's still there too, and the wide receivers that they have, and now with Monungai they have two backs, and the O-line is incredible. But yeah, the defense, all their linebackers were out, and then Jalen Johnson's been out for a while. They have another starting guy in the secondary who's been out for a while. When they get all those guys back, they're only going to get better, and they're winning games right now and learning how to win games right now. So that is really, really a good thing for them.
Yeah, hey, good for Chicago.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Good for Chicago. And Caleb is going to be a guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're all on that boat.
Absolutely.
I was always never left.
He was.
You were.
Yeah.
You very much were.
Way fast.
I was on boat. Like, hey, Caleb's a guy. Caleb's a guy. And then I saw Ben Johnson and heard stories about Ben Johnson, and then I saw the way it started, and I was like, oh, this might not work out here for Caleb in Chicago. It might be another one of those stories of a guy having to find another home and then finding the right spot and doing his thing. And then the thought of Caleb just completely being able to transform how he thinks in a season, and then it being very much on display. Like, you can literally just kind of watch it unfold in front of us. It's like, oh no, they're only going to get better in this entire thing. I think it's a big look out from the Chicago Bears to everybody.
Yeah.
Now we're just talking about the Rams. The Rams and McVay, Stafford and McVay are on 8 of this now? 7?
Something like that, yeah.
7 and 8 of this offense being what it is, And they add Devontae. It's like, that's what you're thinking here with the Bears. It's like, if Ben and Caleb are together, the other pieces around it are like, okay, this is sustainable. This is kind of sustainable.
And people are going to want to go there. You know what I mean? People are going to want to go to Chicago. Like, the first thing you look at, free agency, obviously, after money is like, okay, how's the quarterback? Do I have a chance to win? How's the head coach? Do I like the culture? And everything we're seeing has been great. And we all heard a lot of things from Caleb Williams, just saw a lot of things, or people around his camp, you hear different things, and it's like, okay, Ben Johnson, because we all know how the personalities have to mesh. So I think that was a big question for a lot of people. And I don't know, maybe it's more I see like behind the scenes or like mic'd up where it's like, okay, I didn't expect certain things from Caleb Williams that I'm seeing now. And we all know he had the talent, but it's so much more than talent that goes into it. And he feels like he has all those things as well.
And yet yesterday, everything was on script. Like, we know him for his off-script stuff.
Yep.
He didn't do any of that yesterday. Now, that could have been because people were running wide open, but like everything was on
So what's going on
script.
with you guys, buddy?
Yeah,
Steelers.
it's
How the
pretty
Pittsburgh
easy to stay on
Steelers?
script.
They stink.
What?
They stink.
Nah, they're 6-5.
That's a fugazi.
What?
That's fool's gold.
How about?
Easy.
Don't get into fool's gold, please. Don't be doing that.
It's one of my favorite movies. Matthew McConaughey, shout out.
That's not what we're talking about, though. We are talking about two Macs on the line, babe. Pittsburgh Steelers, though, 6-5. There's
Yeah.
been multiple years now where the Pittsburgh Steelers have had successful records, good records, and Steelers fans have openly said into microphones that people are listening to and amongst the entire city and Steeler fan base itself, this team ain't good enough to win anything. This is fake. This is fake. That's how Steelers fans feel. If it doesn't look like it can win a Super Bowl, Steelers fans immediately know, and they're looking for a reason to talk shit about you. And that is kind of where we've been with this Steelers team for a few weeks, certainly after the way yesterday looks, it sounds.
Yeah, and the defense, like we talked about, there was a month ago, it's like, oh, the defense is the worst. And then there was 3 or 4 weeks where they were getting better, and then they regressed yesterday. Everybody was running wide open. To those Steelers fans that said Mason should be the starting quarterback, you guys are idiots. Okay? I just want to say that out there. I think Aaron probably would have won the football game yesterday, but no, it's just everything's disjointed. We just showed Caleb throwing all those seam routes and everything over the middle. They don't throw over the middle because there's a chance an interception happens. And then 3rd and 5, they just let wide receivers run wide open at 5 yards because they're afraid of getting beat for something worse. Like, it's like you play the safest brand of football imaginable because that's how you try to win football games. And that's not how you win football games these days.
Yeah, it's also tough to watch as a fan. If
Yeah,
it's
very tough.
I had a coach tell me, we're just trying to get 1 point more than the other team.
Exactly, yes.
Can we try to get 30 more than the other team? That'd be a lot better. It'd be a lot better life for all of us if we were trying to do that. But that is a mindset. Hey, we play winning football. We play winning football. It should work out. While the Bears are playing winning football.
They're above 500.
It's why I said 6-5.
Right on schedule.
Could be worse.
Right on
Tied for first in
Yeah,
the division.
still tied for the lead.
Got it. The Ravens, yeah, they didn't play their best game, get a win, but you guys got it. Go to the playoffs.
The Bucs were like 6-5 when they won the Super Bowl, right, with Brady in that first year.
That's right.
So we can still do it.
That's right.
Good point.
There we go.
Think about the Giants story back in the day
Yeah.
whenever they're going to fire.
9-7, and they won the Super Bowl.
Boom.
Hope. I hate it.
Especially when you're watching this team, it looks like. Yeah, because he hasn't had it for a few weeks, hasn't he?
No.
And the fan that he was talking about being an idiot was himself.
No.
That's a thing that just happened, right? That's good accountability.
And even when they had it, the Ravens were still favored to win the division. Remember, we were all like, what the hell's going on?
yeah, 4-game lead or something.
Yeah, the Ravens
Sports
won
books are
5.
like. Fugazi.
Yeah, this team stinks.
That's really what they're saying. All right, let's move on to the next headline, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, number 3 coming out of the Week 12 NFL Sunday slate. Although not all these teams won, okay? There were some super duper special teams, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah,
There were
big
some
time.
magical things that happened around. How about Evan McPherson, Money Mac of the Cincinnati Bengals? They would go on to lose to the Patriots by 6, but McPherson would hit a 63-yarder in Cincinnati in November. A lot of long sleeves on, obviously, out and around there. Cold time. Cincinnati, obviously, very windy. 63, just becoming like a casual day in the NFL these days. Congrats to him. Let's continue with the long balls. Will Reichard here from the Vikings out of Alabama, as we all recall. He has 4 kicks of 59 yards or plus this season. That's the most ever. And that was one in Lambeau. That thing hooked at the end. He played the wind beautifully. This kid's seemingly money from everywhere. The Vikings would go on to lose to the Green Bay Packers, but it was still a great kick. Great kick.
He scored all their points, and that was kind of, it's massive when you have a struggling offense like that, when you can confidently put a guy out there and say, like, hey, this guy, he will be good from 59 to 60. So, yeah, I mean, he was the best player on the field for them yesterday.
And they have a dome, so him doing that in Lambeau, obviously good for him. And Nine struggling.
He stinks, unfortunately. He needs a little bit of help, obviously, and I don't think it's right to put it all on him. But, boy, we talked about it. From what they were last year to what they look like this year, I almost feel bad for Nine because they have no chance to win when he's playing, really. And I know he won a couple weeks ago, but when he plays like he did yesterday, shit, they'd have a tough time beating Michigan this year. So,
well, Michigan's getting good. Obviously,
They
big
are.
one this weekend. Ohio State this
Huge.
weekend. Can't wait to be up in Ann Arbor. Hembo sent us some stats here. Justin Jefferson, whenever he's being targeted under Kirk Cousins, had a 109.8. Sam Darnold, 108.1. J.J. McCarthy, 47.4. I think that was rude. There was other quarterbacks, too. Hembo decided not to leave out, like the Pastronaut.
yeah, Joe Webb.
Carson Wentz.
That for
110.
context
There
is
was-
unnecessary as well.
Contact.
Yeah, there's a lot of context he's saying. Yeah, Hembo's got stats and ideas, and there's a lot of people saying that about 9, but Will Reichert, absolute dog. Let's go to a big-time return in a losing effort. Once again, it doesn't matter. We shouldn't talk about it. Chimare Dike takes one. 88 yards against the Seahawks. Now, there's not a lot to celebrate with the Tennessee Titans, okay? The brand kind of stinks right now. Nobody really trusts ownership to make the right decisions. They don't have a coach, but they have a special moment here with Chimare taking it to the crib. In My Cause, My Cleats, one of his friends who passed away from cardiac arrest had a foundation started here, Kai Lermer, a memorial fund, and raising money in that front. So him running with his friend literally on his feet, I think was a very
Sick.
cool moment. That's a sweet moment. Obviously, Dixon doesn't love it. The punter for Seattle, he hits a monster ball, it comes back. But that was a cool moment. Like, as I learned the story, I almost got like pretty emotional about it because there's not a lot going right for Tennessee. That going right felt like it was a little bit of a thing. Congrats to him. That's a big time return.
That's awesome.
Let's go to another big ball. How about Jake Bates? In a winning effort from the Detroit Football Lions, the brand new Lions. Look at this kick from the back here. The old Lions, this ball would not be going in. New Lions, the brand new Lions, this ball goes in. Look at the snap. Great hold. Phenomenal by Fox. Slice! Come back home! 59-yarder. Now, that is the perfect depiction of the old Lions versus the new Lions.
Amen.
Old Lions, that thing hits the upright at least and doesn't go in.
So loud.
New Lions, that thing kind of sneaks in, doesn't even touch the uprights because they don't want to celebrate or ruin the moment. 59 yards here from the greatest UXFL Super Duper Football League alum in the history of the league.
Yep, without a doubt.
What a stud there. He's former Super Duper Detroit
Michigan Panther.
There it is.
Yep.
The
That was their nickname,
UXFL.
though.
They're doing good over there. Hey, come on, one more ball's better.
When are they cranking up?
I think there's a new league coming.
Did they pay their QBs, maybe?
Yeah. The Michigan Panthers no longer exist.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry to say that.
Didn't they fire all the GMs?
They did. There will be one man who oversees all of the football ops, essentially, for the league.
So they're kind of going back to what the original X was.
Correct.
Yeah, they need to put the X back into football. And this guy's got it figured out. I'm sure of it. Let's go to the last one.
McQuaid, actually.
Let's go to the highlight
Final
of
ball.
all the highlights. A special teams highlight that needs to be watched for all of time. 5 minutes left, tie game, fourth quarter. Got to come out and punt. Returner catches it on his one. Thank you, sir, for doing that. Now we have a chance of coverage. Oh, shit! Fumble! Long snapper on the ball. First and goal from the 6. Everyone's down 21 points now in the fourth quarter on a special teams play. A special play happens. Looking at Elijah Clark. Now, it's been shown 1,000 times. We feel obligated to show it once again because there is a point that I have versus other people. As I was watching this highlight take place, they were showing Elijah Clark's effort here as Sidney Brown pushes him around. Great effort by Sidney Brown, too. Anytime you get a body on the floor on a return, that's good news. Elijah Clark refused to be denied, continued to chase, continued to follow. Oh, helmet to the ball. Fumble Elijah. Go ahead and try to get some points. Now, that type of effort, it cannot be taught. That type of effort only comes from the soul of an absolute dog. Elijah Clark is everything that is great with football, with special teams football. As I'm watching it as a former punter, I'm thinking to myself, yes, this is the man or 10 of the dudes that we need. And I appreciate the fact that the entire NFL world, even the folks that weren't a part of special teams, were like, hey, the reason why you should be respecting what's going on, this guy was the best football player everywhere he's ever been. Elijah Clark walks onto the field. Holy hell, Elijah Clark's here. I assume since he's like 8th grade. I assume since like 8th, 7th, 8th grade, he's been the best player on the field. Then he gets to the NFL. Hey, the way you're going to make this team is by playing something you've never played before. You're going to have to run blindly down the field and try to cover somebody. How far is the run? Well, Anger's got a huge leg, so maybe 60, 70-yard run. And then also you're going to have to go across the field. And then what else is going to happen? Well, you're going to get blindsided, pushed, and then there's going to be people trying to get you out of there. Yeah, but so what's the end game? Well, maybe you might possibly make the tackle. tackle. Only one person can make the tackle, but hopefully you'll be able to do it. So for him, superstar, to buy into that, and all the other guys that buy into special teams, it's the backbone of what football is, which is why we try to save special teams at every single turn. There's a lot of guys that only have jobs because of special teams. There's a lot of football plays that get made that are so special to football that if they were to not exist anymore, it would hurt the game. This is one of them. Elijah Clark, absolute dog. God, give me that guy. Could you imagine this guy was your gunner and you were a punter? It would be amazing. And D-Butt, I think we were talking about this earlier.
Yep.
This is being shown by everybody.
This would be shown in every special team, probably team meeting rooms, because you mentioned a large chunk of the roster. This is how you make teams. This is how you stay in the league. And for me, honestly, I wasn't cut out for this shit. I was not made for special teams, and I realized that very early on in my NFL career. Fortunately, I was drafted high enough to where I could sabotage some of these special teams drills early and kind of get buried on all the bottom of the gunner depth chart. So I did do what Sidney Brown's doing, and I did do some returning early on. But this shit right here, like there's football games, you can play 50 snaps on defense, one special teams rep, like a punt rep or a kickoff rep, old kickoff rep.
Yeah, I understand.
Those reps, probably like 12 to 14 defensive snaps as far as the physical and mental tolls it takes on you, because it is every guy out there, it feels like they're battling for their job in their NFL and their professional life, and it's just a different breed, and this is a perfect example of that. And this was a winning play. I know it was very, very nice of you to show all those great efforts from those losing teams, but this is an unbelievable play and a winning effort for a winning team. Great play.
It was a winning effort, but obviously they don't do anything with it. They go four times, and they don't get a turnover on downs. Thanks for ruining it. But it was,
unbelievable.
Yes. Which goes to the number 2 headline. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboys comeback corrals the Eagles. A lot of different ways to use the C words in this particular title. We landed on this one. The Cowboys comeback corrals the Eagles, strictly because it was Philadelphia Eagles night. It was their night. Jalen Hurts is bopping around, scoring touchdowns. AJ's shoes and cleats look so awesome out there. Devontae's making big-time plays. Sirianni's living the high life down in Jerry World. Hello and welcome to the show. We are your Super Bowl champions. That's what it felt like. There were shots of Dak on the sideline taking his helmet off, and I actually thought to myself, maybe Dak isn't the guy that we've been talking about. Remember just a week ago we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys holding Dak back. Yeah. You know, the conversation was always, is Dak holding back the Cowboys? How come nobody's ever talked about the Cowboys holding Dak back? That's where we were. Then I watched the beginning of this game. I'm like, what an idiot I was.
This guy stinks.
That is not what it is at all. Boom! Fast forward to right before the half. Dak Prescott, George Pickens. What a trade this was by Jerry Jones. Now, whenever DK Metcalf goes to Pittsburgh, we wondered if GP and DK were going to be able to eat on the same offense. They were not. George Pickens goes to Dallas, changes up his entire trajectory of his entire career on a contract year. Not only that touchdown, let's go 21-14 in the fourth. George Pickens, spectacular catch, which is kind of what he does. This is literally what he does. He'll go up and get it. He's fast. He has great football IQ, and he feels like he's at home with the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry Jones is at the stage of life where he just calls him George. You know, we're very happy about George. Now, you know who else is happy about George? Dak Prescott, fourth quarter, 21-14. John Elway. Let me land on my neck and go absolutely ape shit here at Jerry World. 21-21. Eagles can answer. They're our Super Bowl champs. Jalen Hurts makes something happen. Saquon Barkley, MVP. Oh, no! Fumble!
No.
Dallas Cowboys recover. Now what are they going to do with it? Nothing. Now they punt. Send it down. We just watched this. Elijah Clark says, don't worry about it, Dak. Don't worry about it, boys. He'll catch the punt at the 1. Xavier Gibson, who is a very talented returner. Bad decision here. Leads to a worse outcome. Dallas Cowboys get it, 1st and goal on a 7 in the fourth quarter. 5 minutes left in the fourth. Oh, my gosh. They were down 21. All we need is Dak to just do something. 4th and goal. Dak Prescott at shotgun from the 1.5. Scanning, throwing, short, not going to do it. Turnover on downs. Holy hell. How do you not get something done? Well, don't worry about it. Eagles won't either. 3rd and 2. Sacked by Osa.
Odigizua.
Friend of the program. Got paid. Absolute beast. Huge play. The Cowboys get the ball back. Dak Prescott hits a couple. Then he finds George Pickens once again to get into field goal range in Brandon Aubrey. Is he from the UXFL?
I think he's just from the streets.
Actually, I think he's from the football gods, Brandon Aubrey. He missed a kick earlier in the game. We were all very confused. He's gotten to that point where if he misses, we have no idea what the hell's going on. We all assumed he was going to make the game winner. He did. Congrats to the Cowboys getting a huge win after seemingly a historic collapse by the Philadelphia Eagles. D-Butt, your talking point from this game, Dak and Dallas, very durable and tough, or Philadelphia Eagles? This is exactly who we thought they were.
A little bit of both. I still have the utmost faith in the Philadelphia Eagles to figure it out. But for the Cowboys to come out there, be down, Shotty said it after the game. Yeah, we might have spotted them 21. You can't win in the game in any other quarter but the fourth quarter. And that's what the Cowboys did. Dak Prescott has been dominant, especially at home against his divisional opponents. He's been unbelievable. And to go out, we talked about championship defenses coming to this game. This is what we felt about the Eagles, and I still think they'll figure it out. But George Pickens, man, him coming over here and the way that they use him in this offense compared to what how they used him in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, he was basically just a shot guy at the X. Now he's running across the middle. He's getting matched up on slot defenders. He's on the outside. He's on the inside. And right now he's wide receiver 1 in Dallas. And I think after this season, it looks like he's probably be the highest paid wide receiver in the National Football League. I don't know if it'll be in Dallas because of what they paid to CD, but he is that type of talent. He's just unbelievable go-to guy that you can throw the ball anywhere around, and three is going to come down with it.
Yeah, you talk about three need money. Well, Jerry will figure that out, won't he, Ty?
Yeah, I think it's time we maybe give Jerry a little bit of credit. People have been killing him all year, but I think this is one of the rare instances where you look at the Micah Parsons trade and, both teams won that trade. Packers got what they needed. Cowboys early on this year, maybe not so much, but it enabled Jerry to kind of go and get Quinnen Williams. And their defense, we knew what their offense was very early on this year. It was, hey, Cowboys are going to score 50 points a game to win. And, now after the trade deadline, they have some of those pieces in place. And I think Jerry knew all along, hey, there is a way that I can kind of remake this team during the season. And people can keep talking about Micah, and how big of a mistake that
He's
was.
good.
He's unbelievable. Yeah. He is. But I think you could also argue that the Cowboys probably are better off, without him, with the guys they brought in. So, yeah, if you're looking at everything right now, I think the Cowboys are one of those teams where, you don't want to play them right now with how their defense is playing. We know what their offense can do, and we'll see what happens on Thursday. That's a massive game.
Hair looks amazing, Con Man.
Oh, thank you very much.
Let you know, I saw it there. It was shining. It was glistening. It looks unbelievable. Cowboys might be for real, and I know that sports media fans don't love that, and we might fall into sports media world. 21-point comeback. The way they do it. Yeah. Shotty's wearing a backward visor in the thing afterwards. And George Pickens making these plays week in and week out. It's like
9 for 9. 9 targets, 9 catches.
Filthy.
Stafford started, 11 for 11 last
year? 12.
Went to 12. Yeah. Outrageous. All right, number one. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think there's also something very real about, playing for something bigger than everything with, after Marshawn Nealon passed away, you saw late in the game, they're waving his flag. We saw what happened against the Raiders. That can galvanize an entire state almost, and Cowboys Nation, and I think that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, and you can also, obviously that certainly perspective, and we're in this thing together for our guy here, but also whenever Micah gets traded away, they're told they're trash.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically told they can't win.
Season's over mentality.
There could be a lot of bunker mentality down there in Dallas. And the number one headline,
what the?
I don't like it, because we know what this is supposed to be. Okay, every time we've done this, after a Colts win, number one has been the Colts are going to win a Super Bowl. Well, turns out, maybe not. Chiefs is still the Chiefs. And a lot of flags in this game. We got a lot of them. A lot of good calls. A lot of good calls. I put out a tweet, a lot of flags is what I said. And I got a lot of people saying, but who's getting the calls? It's we were actually getting the calls in Kansas City against Kansas City. I think that is something that should be talked about. But then we weren't, too, at times. Tough to watch this game. Tough to watch this game, especially early if you're a Colts fan. It looks easy. Michael Pittman Jr. takes a couple hits. Daniel Jones delivers some dimes. How you doing? We're having a good time. 7-3. Let's go ahead and get it back. Well, Ashton Doolin, actually a guy you probably never heard of. Stud for us. Great on special teams. Oh, yeah. And a weapon with his speed. Yeah, he's going to go for about 30, 40, 50. And then we're going to throw it to 6'5", 265-pound Ogletree, who has the sweet feet. It's 14-3 in Kansas City. Got Tony Romo telling me this is DEFCON 10.
Yeah.
For the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go to 20-9. Fourth quarter, you're up 11 against the Chiefs. Oh, Kareem Hunt, he's going to score a touchdown.
No big deal.
That's
No big
okay.
deal.
That's fine.
It's all right. They're going to do that. A 2-point conversion now to make it a 3-point game. Just got to get a stop. Oh, he's wide
No
ass
big deal.
open.
No big deal.
Now, listen, they weren't even able to do their play they were doing against us the entire game, which is just crossing routes. These dudes were just running crossing routes. We couldn't keep up with them. Rashee Rice going one way. Xavier Worthy going the other way. Rashee Rice going one way. Xavier Worthy going the other. This is all they did the whole game. The whole game. Mooney, Sauce, we got them. We got two corners. Well, they're in track meets because they're trying to keep up with some of the fastest guys in the league running across the field. And Patrick Mahomes and the boys get a field goal to tie it. We get the ball first. Zaire Franklin wins the toss, takes the ball first. Tony Romo immediately points out why he wouldn't do that, but I think I'm a ball first type guy. We go 3 and out. What does Patrick Mahomes do? Well, just like he did at the end of the fourth quarter, Worthy crossing around. I mean, it's just every time. That's all. And here's Rashee Rice. Guess what's going to happen?
What?
Again, from the other side of the fucking field. That's all they did the whole time. They just did it the whole time. It was very obvious, like early, like, oh shit, we're not going to be able to keep up with these guys. They have track stars running across the field. And it's like, this is what Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team can be whenever they have healthy and explosive weapons. I think that's what they've shown in the past. Feels like the Colts ran into that. Harrison Butker not only hits the game tire that he kicked at the end of the fourth quarter, they got the ball like their 4-yard line.
Yep.
And they drove that thing for 4 minutes and 30 seconds right down the field against us. And then they kicked that game tire. And then obviously we knew once they got the ball in the overtime, oh, here we go again. It's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are still the Chiefs.